You live in a world where almost every product you pick up, from $1 headphones to sophisticated electric vehicles, carries the same three words: made in China. In a few decades, China transformed from an industrial underdog to the undisputed global production superpower, flooding every corner of the planet with its products. Through relentless manufacturing prowess, resource control, and a fiercely competitive edge, China's reach has become almost inescapable. But what if things change and made in Mexico becomes as common as made in China? Over the past few years, global supply chains have been shaken up. Tensions between the US and China, plus the high costs and delays in shipping from Asia, have many businesses thinking, why not move closer to home? With Mexico just next door to the US, it's now in the spotlight as a manufacturing hub. In fact, foreign investment in Mexico is skyrocketing, reaching a record $32 billion in 2023, with a significant portion coming from China. But here is the real question. Can Mexico actually replace China in global manufacturing? Guys, hit a like button, subscribe, and we will uncover Mexico's potential to take on this role and find out, can Mexico become the new China? Proximity to the US. Mexico's location is one of its biggest advantages. Unlike China, which takes weeks for goods to reach the US, shipping from Mexico can be done in just days. This shorter distance slashes shipping costs, reduces delays, and makes it easier for companies to meet the huge demand in the US market. Plus, with the USMCA trade agreement, formerly NAFTA, goods made in Mexico can move to the US without tariffs. This makes it easier and cheaper for the US businesses to source products from Mexico, making the country an attractive spot for manufacturers who want to be closer to their buyers. Growth in foreign direct investment. Investment is flooding into Mexico, and not just from the US, but also from China. In recent years, foreign direct investment from China has climbed by nearly 60%, with Chinese companies setting up factories and industrial parks across northern Mexico. For instance, in Nuevo Leon, a state that borders Texas, Chinese companies are building massive factories. Just one example is Lingong Machinery Group, investing $5 billion in a new plant. With money like this coming in, Mexico's industrial landscape is evolving fast, and it's catching the attention of investors worldwide. Strengthening sectors. Mexico has long been known for its automotive industry, producing vehicles for major US brands, but now it's expanding into other areas too. The aerospace industry is growing, with factories producing parts for jets and planes. Tech and renewable energy sectors are also taking off, thanks to the increasingly skilled workforce. In fact, Mexico produced a record number of engineers last year, fueling growth in these high-tech areas. With this mix of skilled labor and expanding industries, Mexico is positioning itself as a competitive manufacturing hub close to the US. Share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe that Mexico has a chance to compete with China, at least on the US market? Infrastructure issues. Mexico's infrastructure is still catching up. Many factories and warehouses depend on a network of roads and ports that often can't handle the demands of modern supply chains. For instance, the World Economic Forum ranks Mexico 63rd out of 141 countries for infrastructure quality. Poor road conditions can increase transportation costs by up to 30%, leading to significant delays. The lack of sufficient water infrastructure also poses risks, particularly in manufacturing regions where water supply is critical. These weaknesses mean companies face potential delays and interruptions, which is a big deal in an industry where timing matters. Security risks. Security is another major hurdle. In 2023, the Mexican government reported a 10% increase in violent crime, which affects supply chain stability in some areas. Crime and violence put trucks carrying goods at risk, with over 7,000 cargo theft incidents reported last year alone. To manage these risks, some companies have turned to risk management programs, such as hiring security for transportation or choosing safer roads. While these measures help, the overall security risk remains a concern for businesses looking to invest in Mexico. Regulatory and legal uncertainty. Mexico's regulations can be unpredictable. Recent decisions favoring state-owned energy companies have created uncertainty for private businesses, especially in the energy sector, where investment dropped by nearly 30% in 2022 compared to previous years. For instance, legal disputes over energy reforms are still pending in courts, making it harder for private companies to plan for the future. This unpredictability may lead companies to hesitate before making making big investments, particularly in energy-intensive industries. Limited skilled labor. While Mexico has a strong base of skilled workers in industries like automotive and aerospace, it still faces a shortage in other sectors. According to a 2023 study by the Mexican Institute of Competitiveness, about 70% of companies report difficulty in finding qualified workers in technology and renewable energy fields. Although some businesses invest in training programs, it takes time to build a highly skilled workforce. This limited availability of skilled labor restricts Mexico's potential to expand as quickly as other manufacturing hubs. In recent years, Chinese companies have significantly increased their presence in Mexico, making major investments in factories and industrial parks to access the lucrative US market. For example, the Hofusan Industrial Park in Nuevo León has attracted over $1 billion from 10 Chinese manufacturers, focusing on automotive and electronics. This location allows them to benefit from Mexico's free trade agreements, which enable over 90% of goods produced there to enter the US tariff-free. Setting up operations in Mexico is also a strategic move for Chinese firms to bypass US tariffs. By manufacturing goods in Mexico, companies can label their products as made in Mexico, sidestepping tariffs that can reach as high as 27.5% on imports directly from China. Companies like Hisense, which established $260 million refrigerator plant in Mexico, leverage these trade benefits to enhance their competitiveness in the US. These strategic investments highlight how China is adapting to evolving global trade dynamics, using Mexico as a gateway to maintain access to the American market while navigating tariff barriers. As more Chinese companies invest in Mexico, the interconnectedness of these two economies is set to grow, transforming Mexico into a key player in the global manufacturing landscape. When we compare Mexico to China in terms of manufacturing power, several key differences emerge. First, let's talk about scale. Mexico has a population of about 126 million people, which is just a fraction of China's 1.4 billion. This significant difference in population impacts production capacity, meaning China can produce goods on a much larger scale. In terms of the business environment, China generally outperforms Mexico. According to the World Bank's Ease of Doing Business rankings, China excels in the areas like getting construction permits and accessing electricity. For example, it takes an average of just 18 days to obtain a construction permit in China, compared to around 75 days in Mexico. This discrepancy can slow down project timelines and deter investment. Even as Mexico grows as a manufacturing hub, it will likely remain dependent on China for certain components. For instance, in sectors like electric vehicles and advanced technology, Mexico relies heavily on Chinese-sourced components, particularly batteries and electronics. These reliance show that while Mexico is becoming more attractive for manufacturing, it still faces challenges in achieving complete independence from China's supply chain. These factors illustrate that despite Mexico's promising growth, it still has a long way to go to match China's manufacturing power and capabilities. As we look ahead, Mexico has several paths to enhance its competitiveness in the global manufacturing landscape. First, improving infrastructure and investing in renewable energy are critical. Upgrading roads, ports, and water systems can reduce supply chain disruptions, while a stronger focus on renewable energy can attract industries looking for sustainable solutions. With the federal government increasingly interested in renewable projects, this could position Mexico as a leader in green manufacturing. Second, US industrial policies like the Inflation Reduction Act are likely to encourage further nearshoring and investment in Mexico. These policies provide incentives for companies to relocate production closer to home, and Mexico stands to benefit significantly from this shift. By capitalizing on tax benefits and reducing logistics costs, US companies may find Mexico an attractive option for their manufacturing needs. Third, geopolitical factors create unique opportunities for Mexico. The ongoing trends of nearshoring and reshoring, combined with the need to diversify supply chains, position Mexico as a crucial player in specific industries. As companies look to reduce their reliance on distant markets, Mexico can step in to fill gaps, especially in manufacturing sectors like automotive, aerospace, and renewable energy. By addressing these areas, Mexico can enhance its standing in the global supply chain and secure its role as a key manufacturing hub in the years to come. While Mexico is emerging as a strong alternative to China in global manufacturing, it's clear it cannot fully replace China's vast capabilities. With its proximity to the US, increasing foreign direct investment, and the potential for growth in key industries, Mexico is well positioned to capitalize on shifts in global supply chains. However, challenges such as infrastructure issues, security risks, and ongoing reliance on Chinese components remain significant hurdles. As Mexico invests in improving infrastructure and renewable energy, and as US policies further incentivize nearshoring, the country can solidify its role as a vital player in manufacturing. By navigating these complexities and leveraging its unique advantages, Mexico can carve out a niche in the global market, making it a key destination for companies looking to diversify their supply chains. The journey is underway, and it will be exciting to see how Mexico evolves in this dynamic landscape. Guys, hit a like button, subscribe, and share your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe that Mexico has a chance to compete with China on the global scale? See you very soon.